Hello and welcome to Female Voices Life and Loss. And I am here today, Teresa, with my guest, Laramie Cooley. She brings deeply personal perspective to a conversation that so many families quietly carry. Laramie has been married for 26 years, is a mom to two adult children, and has built a life rooted in her family, resilience, and showing up for people that she loves. After losing her niece in 2024 and having a mother who battled depression for much of her life, mental health is not just a topic for her. It's something she has witnessed up close across generations. While she doesn't claim to be an expert, she is someone who cares deeply about breaking the stigma around mental health and making sure people feel less alone. Through her own journey, she's found purpose and support and promoting organizations like NAMI, helping bring awareness, education, and hope to others. I am honored to have Laramie here today to share her perspective, her heart, and the impact this has had on her life. So welcome, Laramie, to the podcast.
Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I remembered about your niece. So I'm glad that we're talking about that for sure. But before we dive into that, can you share a little more about yourself and the life you've built with your family? 26 years. Congratulations. And adult children. Yeah. Share
Well,
some more about you.
Okay. I met my husband. He was active duty in the Marine Corps, enlisted at the time in North Carolina at a gas station.
Fun.
Yeah. We had a very short courtship. Met in March and we're married in December. And
Wow.
it's been a fun roller coaster ever since.
Wow.
Yep.
So you
Moved around a lot of places, lived in a few different states, kind of landed in the middle of the country here after he got off of active duty. And then he ended up retiring in the reserves.
Nice. And are your children in the local area here? We're in
They
the
are.
St. Louis area. Yeah. And you're in
Yes.
St. Louis as well. Okay.
Yes.
And they're in
Yep.
St. Louis area.
Yes. The man child still sleeps at my house for now. He'll be moving out in the next few months.
That's funny. He's a man child. I love that.
He's a big kid.
Yeah. We could go on to that subject about adult children and how to navigate that, but maybe that's for another episode. They are definitely different in how you mother your adult children, at least for me, I feel like. Mine are in their 40s now, so it's shifting again and changing. But yeah, fun stuff. So you have experienced mental health struggles in your family across different relationships. What has that been like for you to witness over time?
So I think as, a younger kid, it probably wasn't until really my late teens, early 20s that I realized, that my mom was pretty gnarly depressed and it was something that she battled. Different medications helped, but it was always there. And her father, same thing. Yeah. So there was that struggle. And I wasn't super close with my niece, but that's your family. And she had been out the year before to visit. And so it was nice to get to see her face. They lived in quite a few states away. So didn't get to see them very often. But yeah, and I didn't know the depth of what she was dealing with. Like I said, we weren't close. So I had no idea. And I was just like anybody, like everybody was, regardless if you knew somebody was battling depression, that phone call is shocking to anybody.
What do you wish more people would understand about what she may have been experiencing? Were you able to find out afterwards what all was going on there, and what would you wish people would understand more about that?
I I feel like people who go through depression, this is just my observation,
Sure.
when they do talk about it and they reach out, people aren't always perceptive because sometimes people get exhausted by it. Like, oh my word, it's always something with you. You're always so sad. Get over it. Snap out of it. Or they think they're attention seeking. If you don't know what to do with that, people don't know where to guide that person. it's okay to be annoyed with somebody. That's a feeling you have. That's normal.
Sure. Yeah.
But help them to reach out, point them in a direction of a source, so that they can talk to somebody that can help them. Like she could have called me every day for a week. I wouldn't have known what resources were in her area. You know what I mean? I had no idea. And even I get frustrated with like law enforcement. I'm not a political person, but I watched a lot of videos on YouTube, and there was this person that the police officers were trying to approach, and he was obviously having some mental issues.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is super frustrating. Why are we not just stop and put things on hold and call somebody in who can deal with this person, in the way that they
Yeah.
need to be dealt with? So if law enforcement shows up, and what do we do? Lock them up for 72 hours and then kick them down the road.
Yeah.
You didn't help them in 72 hours. I guarantee you didn't help somebody. What's next?
Yeah.
What's out there? Connect them to resources that exist. They're out there. It's finding them. But police officers and medical people, they should know exactly what those resources are, and
Yeah.
just to steer people more in that direction.
So that's a great point that I think many times I'm in agreement with you because I've seen some of those videos with police officers. My daughter is a police officer, so you triggered something in me to really ask her, like, how are you guys trained
Yeah.
in navigating that? What are things that you look for? Because I think sometimes too they deal with, not to condone, but I mean, or speak to that. But I think there are, like, I personally probably would not know. Is this person on something? Is this mental health? Is this
Yeah.
alcohol? What is that? So I really don't know, what kind of training they go through. I think sometimes with videos that we see, it's more obvious to us that, it could be mental health because I have seen some of those videos for sure.
Yeah.
But making sure, even for us ourselves, to have those resources readily available to be given to someone, I think is
Yeah.
what I'm hearing you say is
Yes.
super important. And then not to always be annoyed by them. Because when you said that, I'm like, some people came to mind and I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah. People do annoy people, but it's, we're not trained or educated on how
Right.
to figure out, is this mental health or is this attention seeking?
Yeah, fair question. And that's not
Yeah.
for us to decide. If I can go, hey, here's this resource, I really think they would be an asset to you, then I can't do anything more than that because I don't know what's what. And I'm not trained in that. I sell insurance, right? So
Yeah.
mental health is
Yeah.
not my department, but made a real effort to find a local organization. And I've invited them to networking events. And I'm like, more people need to know you're out there and that
Hmm.
you're available. What you do is important. And I don't think is enough people know that you're out there and available at no
Yeah.
cost.
So have you, since the loss of your niece in 2024, been able to direct people to NAMI? Or do you feel like it's just good for you to have those resources around?
So I didn't even talk about it in public for a year.
Yeah.
And then when I did, it was awkward and weird, but I did it because I was like, there should be something positive. Like I can do something positive, right?
Hmm.
With this information that I have. That what happened with her, I can't change that. I couldn't
No.
change it at the time, but I can try to spread awareness and support an organization
Yeah.
that can do what I can't. You know what I mean? Help
Right.
them spread their reach in the community. So I just said, hey, it was Suicide Awareness Month. I said I'm going to donate 10% of my commissions to NAMI. So all I'm asking from you guys is just to help me grow my Facebook page, so I can write more business, make more money, donate more money. And it was
Yeah.
fantastic. And of course, they were doing those things anyway. But then they literally just started handing me money. Just handing me cash. Like, we love that you're giving to this and how important it is to you and your family. So that was
Mm.
huge. So I think, I'm in a room full of about 40 people every week. And now they know this, right? And so they have this knowledge, and it makes it real. It's somebody that they know personally that's had
Yeah.
somebody close to them in their immediate family. So I think that's a huge reach that I got to have. And I've
Hmm.
had NAMI visit. I had a counselors association visit. Terry got you in the room. All of you that work in that realm. It's super important that everybody knows these places exist, and just keep getting them in front of people because everybody knows somebody.
Yeah, I definitely have worked with people that they've lost their children, whether it's classified as suicide or accidental overdose of drugs, or they classify things so differently. And I think I don't know exactly how they do that, but yes, definitely have talked with mothers that have lost children to situations like that. And just
Mhm.
everything that comes along with that grief of the guilt, the what ifs, I should have, like all of those things that come
Yeah.
with that. And my own, I guess, personally to my family that I've experienced is I had a niece as well. She was just doing that sign is what she was doing. And it just began to get worse and worse. And so definitely we worked to get her into a facility to support and help her. So I think, just being aware of those things that people may be doing before it's really too late. Um,
Yeah,
for sure. I love
absolutely.
that you are supporting and you are bringing awareness to such a large group of people. And it is important for people they can relate. It's hard to relate to organizations or support organizations when we don't have a personal connection there. So I
Yeah.
love that you have created that personal connection to all of those people to support. What other way do you support them? Because I know there are several of them. There's one in St. Louis. There's definitely one here in Illinois. Um, Seems like they have events and stuff, but I did not research, and I probably should have researched that
Yeah.
a
No,
little
you're
bit
fine.
before I hit record. But share
No,
with
you're
me
good.
what you know about what
Okay.
they have available and what they do.
So they offer Zoom meetings. So if people can't be present, I was really excited about that. I would like for my sister to attend. And I said, if I went, would you go with me? And she was like, absolutely. And I think it would be huge for her. So I would be there. She'd be comfortable with me, but then
Uh-huh.
also can relate to these other people and just get some support and people who have experienced what she's experienced. So that's a super awesome thing that they offer, totally free, and they can do in-person counseling. They have a 24-hour hotline, and they do a walk once a year, coming up in October. I'm going to be wrong. I want to say the 10th, and I don't think that's right, but it is the first half of October, because there's that one, and then the very next is the walk to end Alzheimer's.
Uh-huh.
So I have unfortunately missed the walk to end Alzheimer's every year since I've been a member of Little Black Book.
Uh-huh.
So if I
Yeah.
put 2 walks on my calendar, surely I can make one of them this year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I just found out about the walk about a month ago, maybe. So I'm trying to get my brain around how can I create a team and support that and kind of push that information out there for others.
Yeah, and my co-host, Wayne Berry, is definitely does a lot with the NAMI organization in St. Louis. As a counselor, she does a lot of volunteering with them over there. So I'm aware of all of that, and she's very much connected to them over there. So I love
Nice.
that you have encouraged your sister to be a part of that and doing that with her because I think it is a huge support. Anything that you want to share about how your sister is navigating all of that? And maybe you don't know, maybe she's keeping it very private. And that's okay if you don't feel like
I
you want to
mean, I'll
share.
say this. I mean, and I'm not, she wouldn't be upset to hear me say it's been a roller coaster for her, and it's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
that's the only answer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, and I love that you are there really to support and help her. Just from what I do, especially with the grief piece of that, is that's what people need more than anyone is those people to always be checking on them. It's super important for them to know that people remember and people care and that their
well,
loved ones not forgotten.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not as good about like reaching out to her as I could be and I probably should be.
Mhm.
I'm just I don't have an excuse, I could definitely be better in that department. But I feel overwhelmed sometimes because I don't know what to say.
Uh,
Because she's having a really rough day. I mean, I've said I'm sorry more times than anybody cares to hear, right? That she doesn't want to hear that. And I
yeah,
I just feel lost sometimes. Like I don't even know what to say anymore.
yeah, yeah. And I think just for you and for the listeners, many times that what you're describing is very real. That people do not know what to say,
Yeah.
and I encourage many people to just say, "I don't know what to say, and I want you to know I'm here to listen." Because many times they need to talk
Right.
to help
Yeah.
process the grief and all of that. I've had people that are grieving that if somebody tells me they're sorry one more time, I might just blah, 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 whatever that is, because that's what they hear over and over and over, just kind of like you described. And so they're not looking, for other words. They're not looking to be fixed because it can't be fixed. And
Right.
so to just say, I don't know what to say, is really beneficial for them to hear that and then
Okay.
allowing them to talk and share what they want to share and not interrupt what they're sharing, not
Okay.
fix what they're sharing
Just
is
listen.
super. Yeah, just listen, be there.
Well, that's fantastic advice for me because honestly, that's my biggest hesitation to reach out sometimes is I don't know what to say. I never
Yeah,
thought to say, "Hey, I just called you because I really don't I know you're feeling away today. You're struggling today. I don't know what to say, but I love you." Like why
that's
did I
it.
not think just do that?
Yeah,
I
and
don't
I think
know.
it is just important to be super honest with what you're feeling. Like, I don't know what to say. And a lot of times people will ask how they're doing, and especially early on, I hear from people all the time like, "How the f do you think I'm feeling?" Like, really, like, what do you think? How do you think? I've lost my child, or I've lost my mom, or I've lost whoever. How do you think
Yeah.
I'm feeling? Like, don't ask that question. How are you
Right.
feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel
What can I do for you?
exactly, exactly. How can I support you? Just know that I'm here to listen, to support you. If there is something that you could think of that I can do, I'm here for you. Because a lot of
Yeah,
times
that's fantastic.
they don't even know what they need. And I share many times, like a lot of times they don't know what they need because when there's that traumatic loss, trauma, and what happens in our body is we're flooded with cortisol, which affects our brain and causes brain fog. So physically, biologically, all of that, they can't process and think clearly. It's impossible for them to think clearly. So when they don't know, that's very real. It's very real. And it lasts a pretty good length of time for those that have been through something like that, very traumatic. So, yeah. So, that's another frustrating thing is people ask, what do you need? They don't know. They really
Yeah.
don't. Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. They don't really know. Their brain's not allowing them to even think about that. It's taking them other places. So besides, and that's huge, what you're doing is just collecting money. And I guess, are you going to do something for the walk too? Collect for that
I would
as
like to
well?
build a team for the walk.
Okay.
So I'll be
Nice.
pitching that on Friday.
So Laramie and I, she kind of alluded to this. We belong to a networking organization called Little Black Book. It is local to the St. Louis area. It's a women's group, and we do a lot to support each other in our businesses and our personal lives, I would say, as well. So
Absolutely.
that's how Laramie and I have met, is through networking to support business and support other women in the area. I love my women's group. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, I
Absolutely.
love that you're going to support the walk, and I'm sure that people will support that as well.
Yeah, I
Anything?
think so.
Yeah, yeah. So any signs or anything just from talking to your sister or anyone else, like your mom with depression, anything that you can share that would be beneficial that you're aware of? You said you weren't an expert at it, but you're experiencing it. What have you noticed? Are there things that you, looking back, you would say, well, maybe this was a sign, maybe this wasn't a sign? Anything that you can share with the listeners that would be beneficial?
No, I mean, my mom was
Yeah.
just like, it was just blatant. It was just obvious. Like, you just knew um,
Yeah.
from the way she talked about things. And like, she wasn't like the saddest person that ever lived all the time. Like, my mom was a fun person. She was definitely one of my favorite people. We were close, always close, and always had a fun time together, cutting up and picking at each other and all that, always.
Mhm.
But it just, when the days hit, the days hit. And it just was what it was. So I'm not one to like focus on like a day that somebody passes away. I am not one that like goes every year, oh yeah, so and so passed away this day. It's just not my thing. I don't feel any need to just be sad on this day every year, to just be
Mhm.
sad. Like, right. So I'm not really good at remembering the dates that people passed away on.
Yeah.
But there are certain like times a year, and I'll be like, I'm just feeling sad. And then
Mhm.
it'll, or not, at random, and it's typically around somebody's birthday that's passed. And
Yeah.
that's so I may not have a clue what day you passed away on, but when your birthday comes around, you kind of feel it and you go, why? And then look at the calendar and you go, oh yeah, so and so's birthday, or it's coming close to that date. So,
Yeah, it is very interesting. Many times when I'm working with those that have lost someone, they will say just what you said, like, I don't know why I'm feeling like this or what's going on. And when I talk more with them about dates or things that were significant for the person that died, their loved one, birthday, or something else that happened, or their date of death, it could be just the number. Like I'll say the 10th is when they died, and it may have been April 10th, but this is September 10th. And we don't even realize it, but our body does.
yeah, I could see that.
And yeah, that emotion, and I can't necessarily explain it to you why, but we will. We are very in tune to birthdays and dates of death when someone significant in our life has a birthday or they've died. I can share with you and the audience, those that have lost a loved one, those dates are very important for others to remember. So I do try, I really move towards making sure that I keep track of some of those dates because, like you, I can't remember them all. So,
Yeah.
so there's certain ones that I really try to make a list of so I can reach out and just say, I'm thinking of you
Mhm.
because they do remember, they never forget. And
Yeah.
what I hear often in all of the support groups that I'm a part of is I didn't post anything until late that night to wait and see if somebody remembered, and no one remembered. And so that just hits me when they say
Yeah.
that. And even myself, like, oh my gosh, I didn't remember. But it's a lot of dates. So
And for me,
hard. It's just hard to
yeah,
remember
and
all
I
that.
don't I don't like to share a lot of personal on Facebook.
Yeah.
You are a friend of mine on Facebook. It's ridiculousness. It's just silly memes or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even super often share like family pictures. I think around Christmas maybe I posted one of the
Yeah.
family. So I'm not gonna get on there. And every
Yeah.
year that, my mom, like I'll see all these, they'll tag my mom and I'm like, not doing this today. Like, I don't like it. It's not my approach. I won't comment on somebody's Facebook very often on that stuff. I'm like, I would gladly have a conversation with you, but this isn't
Hmm.
the place. But that's
Yeah.
me. Some
Yeah.
people live their entire lives on Facebook, and that's okay. Everybody does it different. But I tend not to, I don't even wish people happy birthday on Facebook.
I I don't much anymore.
You get a text from me.
Yeah, and that is even better if you're those that I spoke about, they would love that. just a text. I think it's just important for them to know that someone besides them remembered their loved one.
Yeah.
That's all they're looking for. Is it someone
Yeah.
else is keeping that memory alive? Is what they're looking for. Like, am I the
Yeah.
only one that remembers?
It's
They
fair.
just want others to remember because it's a way of honoring them and keeping, I guess, what kind of almost like their legacy alive.
Sure.
There's nothing harder for those that are grieving someone is to think that everyone has forgotten their loved one. That's
Yeah.
really hard. So yeah, texts are probably even better than social media or even a phone call. But a
Yeah.
lot of times people do want to look. And a lot of them, that's what they're looking for. Like they won't post till late because, or some will post the first thing just so that they get those people to respond because it helps them keep that
Yeah.
memory alive. So yeah, I'm really, I'll say to you, so sorry about your niece.
Yeah.
Very difficult. If there's any way that I can support you, your sister, I will look forward to you pitching, as you word you used, to our ladies group to support NAMI, which I think is a great, a wonderful organization. And I will go back and ask my daughter, like, how are you guys trained for this so that I know
Yeah.
and I can share that with
Yeah.
you if no one else, what their training entails. But yeah, I'm sure they have no idea
What
what they're
training?
getting in, what they're getting into every day that they're out there,
Sure.
So anything else that you can think that you would like to share before we conclude today? I love that you've shared some stuff about what you're aware of, what you know, and it sounds like there's lots more for all of us to learn for sure.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, it took me a year before I would talk about it in public, and not that I'm just going around, every week talking about my situation.
Yeah,
But people want to know the why. Like, well, why is this important to you? Well, this is why it's
yeah,
important to me.
yeah,
Let's eliminate the stigma around mental health, right? And just in general, like people want it's so there, especially for men, to feel depressed. Like, oh, man up, come on,
yeah,
get out of here. Like this is not the it's not the 1900s anymore, okay? People, let's go.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I just hope that, you know, it just helps people be more patient and understanding with
Hmm.
friends and family that are struggling and, not patient and listen to their story every other day. If that's okay, you don't have the capacity to do that, but point
Hmm.
them somewhere. Maybe NAMI's not the right organization, but there's something out there.
Hmm.
And not just a hotline. Not a lot of people are going to do that, right? That's a dire,
Right.
desperate. What do you do for the everyday person who's just like in this constant level of depression? Um, the hotline is really not what they're going to bring themselves to do, but they might pop on a Zoom knowing that they
Yeah.
don't have to talk, or they could just observe and listen or talk to an individual and say, hey, I'd like to connect with somebody.
Mm.
So, and removing that financial barrier is huge.
Yeah. It's super important for those um, people to talk to somebody,
Yeah.
um, for sure. And, just like we talked earlier, just being that listening ear just for a short period of time can be super beneficial for them. I don't know how many times I have heard people say, this person saved my life because they listened to me,
Yeah.
and it's just somebody listening.
Yeah.
I know women that have lost their husbands because there was not enough communication, enough openness because they've lost their child. They just could not endure that pain. And so there's a lot of people out there hurting that really just need us to be there to be able to listen and let them talk. There's nothing more important than having someone that listens
Yeah.
when you're going through a difficult time. That's for sure. Well, I just really want to thank you so much for being here today and sharing your heart, just being honest in a meaningful way. The conversation like this really does matter, like you said. because the more we talk about mental health, the more we begin to break the silence and that stigma
Yes.
that keeps so many people feeling alone, like we've said.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
Yeah, so if this episode resonated with you, as far as the listeners, we encourage you to learn more about the work being done through NAMI, and I'll make sure we have some links, so look for those, and how you can get involved, support, and simply make more awareness like Laramie is doing. So look for those resources in the show notes. And as you leave this conversation today, maybe the takeaway is simple: to check in on someone, to listen a little deeper, and remember yourself. You're not alone. Be open to conversation. Thanks again.